the Warwick Baseball team has had a fantastic season, guys. And Eric, I'd love to get your thoughts just on this season. Before we even talk postseason, let's just talk what they were able to accomplish this year. An incredibly talented team. I mean, this is one of the better teams that they've had in quite some time.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And we finally got a chance to see them last week against Manheim Township. You know, talk about just getting jinxed. I mean, you think instead of being the Warwick Warriors or the Warwick Thunderclouds or something like that, because every game that we had scheduled was getting rained out. And the one game I was really looking forward to seeing was when they were going to play Manheim Central, because Warwick was chomping at the bit to play them after losing badly a season ago, and to see possibly maybe the two best teams in the Lancaster-Lebanon League going head-to-head, and it was going to be on a Saturday morning. It was ideal. Of course, got rained out. But I looked at the stats going into that last game against Manheim Township. I mean, this team, top to bottom, can just rake the ball. I mean, these guys hit for average. Obviously, they hit for a ton of power. But then I look at their pitching numbers, and a team ERA of 2.42, and it's not just one or two pitchers. Coach Weissmandel can go to a short relief, and he's got a guy like Seibert that if he's not pitching as a starter, he can go in and close. So they have really the whole ball of wax here as far as this team is concerned.
All right, Bruce, give us your thoughts on one of the teams that you get to cover throughout the season.
Well, Eric really summed it up great. He really summed it up nicely, and they are a well-rounded team. I was at their game against Hempfield when they clinched the section championship, their first since 2014, and they just played a complete all-around game, offensively, defensively, pitching. Seibert was on the mound that night, and was just overpowering, was just overmatching Hempfield. I see you're showing some clips of their defense here, and David Woolley made a great play in the hole in that game. Just to kind of expand a little bit on what Eric was saying, they've already hit 24 home runs this year, 7 each from Matthew Williams and Nick Slajic. So, and that caps that already tops the 19 they hit all of last year. So, yeah, it's just top to bottom. Anybody in that lineup is dangerous. David Woolley's batting a team high 433 for the season. As a team, they're batting 348. So anybody in that lineup can do damage, and they've been doing it.
Yeah, you see there on the screen, 16-2 record, fantastic record. Number 2 in the 6A District 3 rankings. They're done playing, so no more games to add to that ranking. They should stay right around 2 or 3. And they will be heading into the playoffs over the weekend. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's switch to Section 2. We're going to run through Section 1, 2, and 3 here. So in Section 2, Ephrata mounts a big bounce-back year this year. Last year struggled. This year off to a great start, and then just couldn't quite solve the LS riddle. I believe lost both games to them. So they get the second spot in Section 2. They're into the playoffs. Eric, your thoughts on kind of Ephrata getting back to what we're used to seeing from the Ephrata Mounts baseball team?
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, you look at this team this year, and as a team, they're hitting at 343. So again, a team top to bottom that gets on base. Granted, 2 home runs, so really no power, but that's not really Ephrata's game. Their game is get on base, hit and run, sacrifice. Everybody's always in motion. This team is always running. 82 stolen bases on the year. That should tell you what Ephrata baseball is all about. And then their pitching staff is solid again, a 2.95 earned run average. So again, kind of like Warwick, where you've got the whole ball of wax. Well, here's another team that's got everything that you need, maybe minus the power. But again, that's not Ephrata baseball. Their job is get on base, put guys in motion, put the pressure on the defense. And obviously it's been a nice turnaround, and they've generated some very, very impressive results this year. Warwick, Ephrata, Manheim Central, these guys, these three teams double-digit runs multiple times this year. So they're not just winning games; they're handily beating their opponents.
13-5 record for Ephrata. And it goes right down to the wire, Bruce, where they had that last game with LS at home for a potential shot at the section title. They don't get it, but they're into the playoffs. Some comments and thoughts on the Ephrata Mounts here, and now that they're getting ready to start their second season.
Yeah, and it went right down to the wire in that game against LS, too. Apparently, they had runners on base. I think they had the potential of tying runs on base there in the seventh inning and just came up a little bit short. But, yeah, I don't think Ephrata is a team that, others are going to want to face in the postseason, especially, from an Adrian Shelley coach team that they're always going to compete. And like Eric was saying, I was looking at some of the numbers with Brody Martin and Tanner McCracken. I think they each have 5 wins and ERAs sub 2 or just over 2. So they're going to keep you in ball games. And, guys like Aaron Hirschberger, and they're going to steal bases like Eric was saying. And they're going to – I'm excited for the postseason to see what our local teams can do.
So that's 2 of our local teams that will have a shot. The third is Manheim Central, and they're having another great season. I mean, it just seems like they keep stacking great season after great season here and win another Section 3 title, which also seems, kind of par for the course over there. A great 17-2 record. They're number 2 in the 5A District 3 rankings, Eric, and they seem like another team that has a shot at the league title because they are the defending champs, brought back a lot of people. But what about their season that they've had this to try and follow up that tremendous season from last year?
Well, there's no doubt because they are the defending champs. Obviously, the target's going to be on them. That's who everybody is going after. And, like Warwick, like Ephrata, offensive powerhouse, a lot of guys, tremendous averages. They get on base. They score a ton of runs. We knew what Connor Rohrer could do because we saw it last year. I don't know if anybody expected to see the achievements of what Jared Murray did this year. I mean, you talk about impressive. I mean, hey, let's face it, there's no doubt about it. Manheim Central was head and shoulders above everybody in Section 3. I mean, they were just that dominant. Now it's going to be interesting to see, now that we're down to the league playoffs and you got the best of the best from each section and then districts on the horizon, just how far this team can go.
Bruce, one of the teams that you've covered for many years, Manheim Central Baseball, your thoughts?
Yeah, and they lost to Manheim Township yesterday 7-0, but you never know what happens in that game. I just don't I don't know what happened in that game. They're not going to get shut out very often.
They did not throw their 2 aces.
Okay, but their only other loss this season was Lancaster Catholic, who's the Section 4 champ.
1-0.
And to go along with what Eric was saying, both Warwick and Manheim Central, their average margin of victory this year. For Warwick, it was 8.75 runs per victory, average, and Manheim Central was 8.12. So, I know Warwick and Manheim Central both have guys that they can kind of come in and slam the door shut, late innings, stoppers kind of guy. They haven't really needed them because they've been so far ahead late in games, winning by mercy rules, whatever. So it's just, it's been impressive to see what Manheim Central, Warwick, and Ephrata have done this year.
Yeah, and it's been fun too to just see the box scores and see them continuing to climb up the District 3 rankings. And now the fun part, we get to talk about the playoffs. All 3 of those teams have made the LL League playoffs, which start this weekend. Let's show you the bracket because it's interesting to see the matchups and who's on what sides of the bracket and who will meet each other at what level. So on the left side, Lampeter Strasburg as the Section 2 champ will take on Anvil Cleona. There's Manheim Central against Manheim Township in the first round, the quarterfinal round of this league baseball championship. I mean, that could be the final if you really wanted to say. Then on the other side, Lancaster Catholic and Ephrata will be a great matchup, and Warwick and Donegal. So there are plenty of teams in this tournament that can win it, and we will have that Warwick-Donegal game live on the channel Saturday at 11 a.m., weather permitting. So let's get the guys back in here and get your thoughts on the brackets, Eric, now that you've kind of seen where the teams slot in unofficially. You know, who do you envision potentially moving through there and getting to the finals?
Well, first of all, I want to compliment you on even finding the bracket.
Yeah, I know.
I was searching for it and couldn't find it.
It's been a little slow this year, which is kind of frustrating.
I think this, you know, and I said this at the beginning of the year, that I think that this year the playoffs are going to be maybe better than what we have seen in the last couple of years, because there is so much talent on, you know, all these teams that are in the postseason. But again, I just go back to that Warwick Manheim Central matchup that I wanted to see, and I just have a feeling that they're on a collision course. And but you know, the fact that we got 3 schools within our viewing area with Ephrata, Central, and Warwick, I think that's tremendous. So you know, best of luck to all of them, and you know, hope that one of them there and you know, makes it to the finals. Would love to call a league final, and that's going to be at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think that adds an extra layer to it too, to be able to broadcast and watch a game from Clipper Magazine Stadium, which we have made our home in the summer. To get a league baseball final there, I think would be pretty exciting. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
for you're wanting to see Manheim Central and Warwick. That would be a fun one to see at Clipper Magazine Stadium.
That's just kind of a hunch. The fact that we didn't get a chance to see him earlier this year, I don't know. That's just a gut feeling.
It got rained out, never was made up. Maybe destiny will have it that we'll get it in the league final. It can't happen. They're on opposite sides. Bruce, what do you envision there? What do you envision seeing? What would you like to see in a potential final matchup?
Well, I'm with Eric. I mean, I think too it's going to be Warwick and Manheim Central in the finals. You know, it's the matchup that didn't happen during the regular season. I'm sure a lot of people, besides just us, would have loved to have seen it. And I think with the depth that both teams have on their pitching staffs, you know, Warwick plays Donegal, and Manheim Central only beat them by a run the other day. Manheim Central plays Township. I think too. I have a hunch it's going to be Warwick and Manheim Central in the finals, and then at that point, flip a coin.
Yeah, which will be nice. You know, it depends on what pitching matchup we get, and are the bats hot for either side. All right, let's leave that there. And when we come back next Wednesday, we'll have more answers to this. In fact, we'll know who the finals matchup is, most likely depending on weather.